build up momentum against the shit teams. We're the shit team, aren't we?
The Hodge said, we are going to have the best stadium in the championship.
Fat Boy Rob snuck a second review in, which said hashtag Ferner in.
And then Tim G said, hashtag Leeds Slump 2019. Ferner better get on the internet and try and find some players who care. I mean, the question that Rich asked about can something before it's too late, it's definitely not too late at this stage of the season. And I'm saying this as a Wigan fan full of misplaced hope. But when I sat down and looked at the table, Sarah, Wigan and Leeds are only 4 points off the playoffs, so I don't know what the panic's about.
No.
In terms of what I do know of this game, from what I've seen, I mean, Conrad Hurrell for Leeds does deserve a fair mention. He's gone over 1,000 metres for the season so far, which after 7 games is pretty impressive, I would say. So he's definitely putting a shift in, if not it resulting in a positive outcome for his side often enough. Elwa Pelissier seems to have worked his already down to his ankle socks off for the Broncos in this game, being over 100 metres and over 40 tackles. That's a double stat hit that we haven't seen from many other players this week, so you've got to say credit to him for that. And he hasn't been very good for London this year when I've seen him. He's been penalties and errors waiting to happen, but obviously in this game he definitely showed up, and it sounds like Leeds were pretty soft down that middle, where he was able to jump out of dummy half quite a lot and take advantage. And we talked at the top of the stats about like it being the game with the most runs from dummy half, and Elwa Pelissier making 10 metres a carry or whatever it was a big part of that. And actually every London try was a last tackle try. So that's got to worry Leeds, because it was the same as what happened against Wigan earlier in the season, actually. Wigan scored a lot of tries from kicks against Leeds, and London have done the same. And maybe a couple of the tries had an element of luck attached to them from the Broncos. But you've got to say that that they were taking those opportunities, and every single explanation of the tries I've read suggests that somewhere in the set, Batty and Pelissier have made big yards down the middle of the pitch off quick rucks. So it is maybe an effort question around Leeds at the moment. In terms of like the best highlight moments from the games that I saw, I actually think the best one does go to Leeds. Trent Merrin's try was a really good team try after taking advantage of a slight mistake by London. Lots of interplay through the forwards after it came in from the wing, and Aledzki putting a pass into Trent Merrin, who ran a nice line through a few players to get his first Leeds try. So I actually thought that was a really good try from Leeds, and probably at that stage with Leeds getting back into things, the Leeds fans would have been excited. They took the lead after that try. But yeah, I've also got to mention London's first try too. The great heads-up play by Williams to just catch that ball and tap it back in on his way into touching goal, and Pitts was just there to get on it, and it showed that they had that greater hunger. And then you saw that again with the 2 tries in the second half. They were just quicker to the ball, which is what got them their scores, all of their scores for London. So hats off to them indeed.
Yep.
Do you think it's too late for Leeds?
No. Wigan are still down there. Huddersfield are still down there.
But they are playing like a shit team at the moment, and from one shit team we move to another shit team, but also another very good team this year, as we move over to Warrington, where it finished 25 points to 12. It was 12-0 to Warrington at half time. 13,106 were there. Warrington did a good job of promoting this game in terms of it. They got a lot of their own fans into the stadium for this one, which was great to see. And also the players lived up to that billing of bad blood, as we'll get to. Ben Fayler was the man who had to try and keep a lid on all of that. In terms of the stats, some stats were close in this game, like metres and average game, with Wire just edging total metres and Wigan just edging the average game per carry. Wigan had a better team tackle success rate and better handling, 6 fewer errors made by Wigan. However, Wire were much more of an attacking threat, with 7 breaks compared to 1 by Wigan and 11 more successful offloads. Discipline was an area Wigan let themselves down in, conceding 12 penalties compared to 5 by the Wire. Warrington just played the ball way too fast for Wigan in this game for most parts, and that rolls into the individual stats neatly, where we start with Daryl Clark, 1 try assist, 8 tackle busts, 166 metres. Josh Charnley, 1 try, 137 metres. Steph Ratchford, 1 try, 5 tackle busts, 120 metres, 3 clean breaks. Ben Curry, 1 try assist, 115 metres. For Wigan, some of the better performers on the stats were Tom Davies with a try and 131 metres, George Williams with a try assist, 9 tackle busts, 124 metres, Dan Sargentson with 113 metres despite having a 10-minute break in the middle of the second half there, and Zach Hardacre, 7 tackle busts and 101 metres. Do you want to give us the first of the fan reviews?
Yep. POB 1976 said Warrington the best side in the first half before Wigan came back into it. The drop goal from Patton settled Warrington. The scuffle behind the sticks saw Patton and Issa sin-binned, and Westwood deserving a red for a headbutt. Warrington the better team tonight. They billed it as bad blood, and it was.
Yeah, Paul Chamberlain said, no wonder Mark didn't like the Eights and also wants to remove promotion and relegation. At least Wire let you have a cheeky 20-minute reach around in the second half to take your mind off the shafting.
Tom Andrews said, Wigan spoiling the 60-1 underdog triple I had on for Friday night. Couldn't even win the fight at the end. All the players must be tired holding the rest of the league up because they aren't putting the work in on the field. The Lamferner race to the airport is heating up.
Carsten said, very intense match and Wigan showed some good signs, but the Wire was just better. Some really dirty stuff was happening on and off the field too. I think Wigan will train well this week. Adrian Lamb keeps saying that we're training well. That's where Carsten's going with that. I'm sure they will train well and probably lose.
Tom Eckley said, really enjoyed that one, had a bit of everything. This group of Warrington players has so much potential. Something I would say is only RL fans will take the whole bad blood marketing and not congratulate a good crowd, but instead will blame the Grealish incident, failed Brexit negotiations, and Ebola on it. There's honestly no winning, but so much to be positive about right now.
I've got a page turn that I should have thought of ahead of time. Adam Conley said, for 60 minutes, a dominant performance by the Wolves, with Wigan's attack having as much penetration as a flaccid penis. Then cue George Williams, who showed why the NRL are after him. A grandstand finish was in store, then all hell breaks loose. Maybe not a good idea labelling the game bad blood. A busy week in store for the disciplinary panel. In the end, Wolves deserved the win. What a game and a great advert for rugby league.
At Mike Dodd 22 said, well, the marketing suggested bad blood, and that's what they got in the end. Wire very solid again and just about managed to regain control after 2 quick Wigan tries in the second half. Ratchford and Clark immense as always. Stupid from Best and Westwood. Can see a few bans coming out of this one.
Yeah, actually, the only ban that's come out of this one is Ben Westwood's got a grade D charge, so potentially up to 5 games. That's going to be reviewed by the disciplinary panel tomorrow. I haven't read the minutes from the meeting yet. I am surprised Joe Greenwood got away with the hit on Blake Austin, because although at the time, live, I sort of thought, was he starting to pull out of the tackle? When you saw the replays, his shoulder still ended up hitting him on the head, which is, to me, pretty bad. And so I thought he would have got a game or two for that, Joe Greenwood, but he's probably going to miss the next few games by injury anyway, so I suppose it all comes out clean in the wash on that regard. Fatboy Rob said, Clark and Co beat cheats. He's running out of these C beats cheats things, isn't he?
Yeah, I think we need to buy him a concordance or a dictionary. I wonder if Rob's Toy Shop sells them. Yes, who's next? Alan. I can understand the Wigan fan frustration with Williams. Looks like a world beater for 5 minutes and puts Wigan back into the game. First time I've seen Shorrocks and look to have promise. Neat kick for their first score.
Lee Whitnell said, we could have easily been out of sight before Wigan's second half revival, but by the grace of Hardacre's legs and Atkins' Countess hands. I'm surprised he didn't celebrate that one, even though he dropped it 10 yards out, Lee. The score was close enough to have me twitching in the last 10. Fuck, watching George Williams run in those situations is stressful, but that made the win all the more euphoric when it was sealed. We even scored a drop goal. Fucking beautiful.
The Hodge says, it's okay, Mark, we can have a cry together.
And then Tim G finishes with, it might be their year, #Wigan Slump 2019. If not Sean Edwards, then who? I don't know who can turn this around, to be completely honest with you. I think people have summarised it pretty well there by talking so much about bad blood, Sarah, but also talking about how the first half Warrington should have been more points ahead. It was really pleasing from my point of view, and one of the highlight moments of the games for me, obviously, was Hardaker's held up tackle on Ben Curry. Rich Wilkinson will be pleased to see some consistency in the decision making, because Curry, it went up to the video ref. Curry had dropped it at the end after thinking he had the try, proper Ryan Atkins in it, and got called for a knock-on for it, and Wigan got the 20-metre tap, just like the Lola here one in the Leeds Saints game the other week. So there is consistency on that, so we can all kind of put that one to bed and be cool with that now, which is good. Hopefully it does continue that way. But other than, Zach Hardaker's tackle, fantastic. How easy it was for Ben Curry to get into that place to nearly be scoring a try from Wigan's perspective, not fantastic at all. Warrington were better than the points margin suggests, although I don't know if that means Warrington fans should actually come out of this game relieved or maybe a little bit disappointed that Wigan made it competitive towards the back end. I know there was the try right at the end that padded the score out in the last minute, which Jack Hughes totally deserved that try that he got at the end. He'd played well all game. But really, Wigan were the better team in the second half, probably, starting with that knock-on. And if it wasn't for Morgan Escray having like the slipperiest hands in the competition, then, he just loves gifting tries to his opposition winger. But then it could have even gone a different way, and I left the game feeling a little bit uplifted, to be honest.
Good.
We've not had much to be happy about this year, have we?
No, but if you're happy going away knowing that you're in 10th position and lost a few matches, that's good. I'm pleased that you can take positives from that.
Well, it's better than being in 11th or 12th, Sarah.
It is.
And, we're still champions. I'm going to be saying this all year until we get relegated.
Yeah, and then you can be championship champions if you want.
Exactly.
Maybe next year.
Delightful stuff.
Yeah, so many good things to hold on to.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, like, in the first half, I was really worried, again, because Warrington were playing so fast. They kept giving us problems around the ruck. They kept winning penalties, and Wigan kept making errors as well, which didn't help. So we put ourselves under a lot of pressure in that first half, and Warrington didn't quite take advantage fully from that. And also there was an instance in the first half when Wigan, in my opinion, should have had a penalty when Josh Charnley went up to challenge Oliver Gildart in the air, but when he realised he wasn't going to be able to catch the ball, he basically just shoulder barged Gildart when he was catching the ball. To me, that was a foul. But what annoyed me about that wasn't that a penalty wasn't given. What annoyed me was that none of the Wigan forwards went round and grabbed Josh Charnley by the throat and asked him what he was doing jumping into one of our other players like that. That to me screamed a lack of team spirit.
Yeah.
So in the second half, when the team did all start getting together and celebrating successes together, whether it be the brilliant line that Isa, finally someone ran a line for George Williams and scored that try, and the whole crowd was up, the players were all up. That was fantastic. And also getting in the fight, everyone got in. And to be honest, when you're at the stage we're at with Wigan, where we've lacked intensity so much this season, we've lacked togetherness, we've lacked team spirit on the field, it appears, a bit of a fight like that could help reinvigorate that sort of stuff. It gave them all a common enemy rather than being mad at themselves and at each other. So I was happy with that. But Warrington were definitely the better team. I've listed down my star players from the game, and they're all Warrington players. Darryl Clark was, for me, the man of the match. Steph Ratchford was very good as well. Jason Clark off the bench just offers so much composure and continuation of what Hill and Cooper are doing that they just haven't had Warrington over the last couple of years. So I think that's been fantastic for them. Ben Curry, he's come back like he's never been away. He's come back in World Cup form already, and I also think Jack Hughes in the back row as well was outstanding in this game for Warrington. So I just think all the best players on the pitch in the end were Warrington players. Although I did managed to get some highlights from a Wigan perspective, because I thought both the tries we scored had really good individual bits of play. Alan pulled out the kick by Shorrocks, talked about the play by Williams for Isa as well.